Okay, Dad. So when the war broke out in Scotland,
my mother and I were living with my grandmother. And Glasgow had a shipyard called Clydeside.
This was after she divorced. How long was she single before she married again?
how long was she single for?
I was about 2, I think, when she divorced. And I think I was about 9 when she married.
Okay.
1944, I think she got married. So I was 11.
Right.
She was married before that. So anyhow, they were bombing Glasgow, and it was really bad. So the government decided to evacuate all the kids. So they put us on a train, and I was shipped to an island, so we went on a boat and to the island. And I was there. I was about 5 and a half when I went.
Were you sad to leave your mother?
Can't remember.
How old were you?
About 5 and a half.
Don't you, that feeling of being separated from your mom like that didn't affect you?
I don't remember leaving,
Okay.
but I remember like being on the island on the farm. And the people were good in as much as they fed me. But after,
How long were you on the farm for?
well, from 5 and a half, about 6 and a half years. 6 years maybe.
And your mother got married during that time?
Yeah.
Was it a government program that sent you off, or like
Yeah,
a,
no, it was a government program. But after breakfast, you had chores to do, feed the chickens. But after that, like in the summer, there was no school. I was on my own. I used to love to walk up, by the river. We had 2 sheepdogs on the farm.
So hold on, it wasn't a Jewish thing, it was a child
this
thing.
was just a
All
thing.
kids, okay.
There were 12,000 kids billeted on this island, and after 3 months, though, I think there was a dozen left. They all went home, they got homesick.
When the war was over, right?
Homesick.
No, this was when the war was on,
Why did they go home if the war was still on?
because they were homesick and they didn't like the
So
city.
you stayed on the island?
Yeah,
And how many kids were left?
there were about a dozen of us left. But
So did you feel
all
like,
over the place. I
Why
didn't
weren't
know
you
who they
homesick?
were.
Why would there be so many kids?
Don't ask me. I enjoyed it.
Dad, how did you feel when all the other kids left?
I didn't know the other kids because the island was maybe an hour's drive from one end to the other and a half hour the other way. But
They didn't visit you at the farm?
I must have enjoyed it because I
Were
liked
parents
living
allowed
on
to
the
visit?
Didn't they visit you at the farm ever at all?
farm. They were allowed to visit, but I don't think my mother ever visited. I went home once.
In how many years?
So you went home to Glasgow
6
and then you went back to the island again?
Yeah.
Wow.
And I remember
How long?
I
Hold
went
on, were you in that
home-
much trouble? Was your mom in that much dangerous states that you had to leave? Why wouldn't she just keep you
Dad,
and stay with
hold
you?
Wayne, hold
Because
on.
They were
What?
bombing.
Dad.
Bombers were going over.
So why didn't
Dad,
she leave?
Wayne, hold on a sec. Dad,
I don't
when you
speak
went
Greek.
home
Yeah.
to visit, how long did you stay there for?
I think for about 4 days.
And then
5
you went
days.
back.
Yeah.
Okay. How did you feel when you had to leave after 4 days?
Well, I'll tell you what happened. I was fast asleep one night, and my mother woke me up. She says, "We've got to go to the bomb shelter. There's a raid on." And I said, "No, I don't want to. I'm too tired." And as I said that, a bomb went off about 3 houses away from where we were.
No way.
Maybe 4 houses. And that house was totally flattened. There was no house left.
Unreal.
And I remember I jumped out of bed in my bare feet and I ran outside to the bomb shelter. I always remember that.
Did you ever see any Nazis like on the ground at all?
No.
No?
But once when we were coming home from school on the island, they had been an afternoon raid, and we'd just come out of school and we were walking home, and this Nazi fighter machine gunned the road that we were on, and we all jumped. There's a ditch on each side of the road. We all jumped into the ditch. Nobody got hurt. And he just went through once and then...
Hold on, you were
went away.
shot at?
Yeah,
Really?
yeah.
Wow. That's scary. Just random
And you were
fire?
5 years old,
Yeah.
and you knew to
6.
jump in the ditch.
Of course, we knew that, sure.
Random fire like that just on the streets?
This was on a road on the island. But you see, they were bombing Glasgow, and the island was north and to the west of Glasgow. And I guess the planes were going back to Germany or wherever they came from. And they had some bullets left, so... yeah.
But they never occupied Scotland, though. They never occupied Britain.
The funny thing was, the Germans had a plan to invade Britain, and the island that I was on, they were going to take that island and use that as a base.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And at one point, I remember, a lot of soldiers came to the island. We had them billeted on our farm. And I guess the British knew about it, and they filled the island up with troops and equipment. And they were there for a while, then they left and went wherever. But I think that living on the farm, it made me very self-reliant. I didn't need anybody.
Right. So you learned your independence there.
Very much so.
Right.
At a young age.
But we had 2 sheepdogs on the farm, and they were with me all day. They followed me.
Remember their
wherever I
names?
went. Patch and Blackie. They were.
You remember their names?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm
They
so
were
glad
both
I'm getting this on
sheepdogs.
film.
And one had like a whitish face with a black patch over one eye,
Hence Patch.
and the other one was all black. Patch and Blackie. Yeah.
So when did you rejoin your parents? About
Is this
8,
background music perfect for the
When I
background
was
set of it?
11 years old, I went back.
11. For good. When you went home
Yeah.
for good.